I started life in the first several decades. I was a very unhappy person. I thought about committing suicide many times. I had a lot of negative thoughts that would just kind of come into my mind and plague me. I have been a seeker for a long time, and when I found Buddhism when I was in my 50s, I felt that was a major achievement, because there was so much about Buddhism that fit my own sense of ethics and how things work in the world. And so I would say that I was doing better, but still not entirely happy with my life. So the opportunity to take the course came for me at the end of a year, which I had dedicated to doing some research and looking into non-duality. And non-duality was a term that I had kept hearing, but I didn't know what it meant. And so right at the end of 2014, here I was handed an opportunity to do this course, which was all about non-duality and extra stuff too. So I was definitely ready. And because of the things that have happened that I had told you about earlier, at least a couple of the things that I was introduced to in practices that were transformative for me, sometimes I feel like a different person. I feel a little, the image that came to my mind when I was thinking about talking to you was a snake losing its skin. It's like I was peeling off some old, useless material that was not really necessary or valuable for me to have. It was uncomfortable, but it was effective in that way. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty stable with the sense of well-being, which I never had a sense of well-being before. I did not. I was always feeling inadequate, not quite doing what I was supposed to be doing, whatever that was. And so to have this, wake up every morning and feel like, yeah, things are okay, is, that's been really wonderful. I feel that kind of steadiness, well-being, things are going to be okay. And mostly I'm very aware of the fact that my mind is thinking about things like being one with everything instead of feeling completely separated from everything. That's kind of it in a nutshell, is that my mind is still active and I hear from it regularly, but it seems like what it's doing is working on kind of more useful, more important things, aspects of life, rather than spending a whole lot of energy feeling responsible for everything. It's been really good. I don't spend a lot of time. I've let go of so many stories about myself in my life.
What for you is the result of those stories being gone?
A lot of things that I used to think mattered a great deal. The story of my life and who done me wrong. My poor parents, they've taken a lot of blame and abuse over the decades. It's like it's very freeing to not be lugging that bag of misery and negative memories and stuff around with me. It's like gone already, forgiven. It just doesn't come back anymore. So it frees me up to just be. I feel like I spend a lot more time just being whoever I am in the moment, and that feels pretty good. I think I had a lot of negative emotions, disappointment, anger, frustration, depression. I don't know if that's an emotion, but there was a lot going on with me emotionally and very little joy. And that's something I had noticed for many years, especially since I going on retreats and stuff like that. I would notice that joy didn't seem to be in my repertoire. That's been a huge difference during a lot of the practices that we did, especially in the second half of the course. But even the first half, when we were doing the awareness things, I had several occasions where I really felt shared consciousness with people that I was close to, like my meditation group or something like that. That's very joyful to experience being connected with other people that way. And then, with the direct inquiry, suddenly I was connected not just with other people, but with everything. So certainly a lot more positive emotions, very few negative emotions, and actually fewer emotions altogether. When I meditate, I rarely have any kind of emotional content to it, either positive nor negative. And that's interesting because I talk to other people that struggle with emotions when they meditate. I still love my kitties and I love my husband. I just feel more equanimity, which was always one of the things that I wanted to get to. Couldn't imagine that I would ever make it. It has to do with completely accepting oneself and feeling peace, just peaceful and accepting what's going on, who I am, how I feel. You don't have to be high to feel peaceful and contented. Feeling high is great, and I love that too. But I would say for me, it's been more feeling contented with my life and my family and my circumstances in a way that I was not feeling really before the course. Some people have not said anything, but I don't think it's because they haven't noticed. I think they just haven't known what to say. Mike has definitely noticed and commented that I just seem much happier, more peaceful, more contented with my life. So yeah, he's definitely noticed it. And several other friends, my closer friends, have definitely noticed. One of the things that I do is a daily gratitude practice, and there's nine women around the country, and every day we email each other our list of things that we're grateful for today. So I've gotten quite a bit of feedback from the gratitude sisters on how my gratitudes have changed over the last several months. In some cases, they're kind of obscure to people, but I think everyone's noticed that they are more lighter. Oh, and they've noticed that I'm grateful for my husband a lot more than I used to be because he's been such a support to me through this. And I'm noticing a lot more things about him to appreciate. Yeah, so I think people have noticed. What I found, there were a couple points where I made decisions to do things a certain way. And there were a couple of other times when things just seemed to happen that were transformative. For instance, when I started the course, one of the first things that I recognized that I needed to do was include my husband in what was going on with me. He's not at all interested in this stuff. Not at all. But he's not negative. He's just not interested. But he does take it personally when I spend hours and hours doing something that he's excluded from. So I made a conscious decision to keep him informed of what was going on with me, what I was doing, whether I was feeling good about it, whether I was feeling miserable about it. And I think it was really a good thing for our relationship because he became my support group. And so that was great. So I was really happy with that. And then the other things that happened was during the Christmas break, I got a tip from one of the people in my small group. I was talking about having all these negative thoughts about myself. So she mentioned the possibility of making a list of all of the lies that my mind was telling me. As soon as one of those lies would pop up, I would write it down. And I think I got up to like 15 or 20 of them. And it was like almost overnight, they shut up and went away and they never came back, which was amazing. I wouldn't say, okay, so not never, but nothing like the fear and terror that I had been feeling about being a failure and never being able to get it right and all that stuff. So that was a major turning point for me. So I was really set up for the second half of the course because I had been able to remove that stuff, gunk from what my mind was busying itself with. And then the other thing that happened was, for me, was direct inquiry. Every single time I did direct inquiry, I got to be one with everything. Whether I was doing it myself, whether I was doing it with somebody else, I would get to this place where I just knew I was part of the one, and that is still with me. So those are all things that just made the course work really well for me. I can really have to appreciate, what you've put together here. It's just a remarkable collection of useful information and practices, mostly practices. I feel so grateful, very grateful.
Have any of your personal habits around sustainability or environmental stuff or anything changed? Do you get more plastic bags at the supermarket than you used to, or
No, I think that is so deep, the whole sustainability way of looking at things. And my career before I retired, I was an environmental specialist working for local government, starting recycling programs. I've always picked up cans on the street and brought them home to recycle them. These are really deeply ingrained in us. And those things are not going away. It's just, whether I'm going to try to be out there drumming up a group to change all the people that aren't doing those things. That's where I'm kind of taking a little break. I would like everyone to wake up and recognize their true nature. I think it's a good thing. I'm with Thich Nhat Hanh on that one. I think the world would certainly be a better place if there were more of us.